Hello, it's everybody's favorite super active YouTube channel, and I thought I'd explain why the Washington Justice were able to beat everybody in the playoffs except the first and second seed, while playing a weird one-trick composition. The Justice's composition consists mainly of Roadhog, Zarya, Ashe, Tracer, Mercy, and Zenyatta, though a Sombra can be subbed in for Tracer and an Ana can be subbed into Zen in certain situations. We're going to focus on the main 6 though. The main goal of this composition is to put pressure on the enemy frontline and backline to prevent them from focusing/diving your Ashe and Zenyatta. The Roadhog serves as a main tank here, and thus is going to be the furthest in the frontline and the one who contests point the most. Zarya is going to be with him or on some close high ground that allows her to bubble him and do damage to the enemy. Ashe and Zen are going to be positioned pretty far back on the high ground usually for better sightlines. The Mercy will likely be with the Ashe to damage boost her, and then the Tracer will be on an off angle on defense and pretty far back in the enemy backline on attack to harass the enemy supports and snipers. Roadhog's main goal is to contest space and get hooks. Those hooks can go onto really anyone as long as there's a decent chance of them landing. The main caveat is that those hooks do open him up to damage and therefore shouldn't be used in a situation where they could end up in him getting killed. His heal, however, should be used when he's taking damage and at risk of taking more damage due to its damage reduction. If he takes damage but isn't at risk of taking any more, then the support can just heal him, get ult charge, and he can save that ability. Roadhog's ultimate, Whole Hog, should be used mid-fight, either to combo with Grav, or after the enemy hog hooks, so that you can pressure and zone the point. Zarya's main goal should be to keep Roadhog alive and peel for her supports who need it. Bubble should be used mainly on Roadhog, as this tank composition thrives through their ability to do a lot of damage while not dying, as they are pretty split from their team, but Bubble should also be used to peel for anyone who is about to be killed by, say, a flanker. Grav should be used mid-fight and onto high-value targets. In this case, size actually doesn't matter, and it's more about who it's on, like the enemy supports. Ashe's main goal is pretty simple. She just wants to get kills from afar. Dynamite should be used before a fight just to get extra ult charge, but mid-fight onto the target that Ashe is focusing. Coach Gun is used mainly to push away people who are diving Ashe and to get out of a bad position. Bob should also be used mid-fight to put more pressure onto the point and split the enemy's attention. Tracer's main goal is to harass the enemy backline, which includes supports and snipers. She mainly wants to use Blink to play around terrain, as out in the middle of nowhere she's going to get hooked and burned down. Recall is used pretty obviously how it's always used, just when you're low and need to get out of danger, and Pulse can be used while engaging onto squishies usually, such as supports and easiest to hit snipers. Mercy's main goal is to boost Ashe's damage, but she also needs to heal anyone who needs it, which is why her mobility and sightline is so important. Mercy's res is mainly going to be used onto Zen and Ashe, as they will die in the safest positions, but can be used onto anyone as long as they died in a semi-safe place and her team supports her. Valk should also be used mid-fight, after the enemy has already engaged and when her team needs the healing. Zen's main goal is to keep Zarya alive while discording the target that the team is focusing. His heal is mainly going to be used onto Zarya, as she is the weaker of the two tanks, but can be used and should be used onto anyone who needs healing. His discord should be onto whoever he personally is shooting. Trance should pretty much always be saved to counter enemy ults. Sometimes you'll have to use it to save yourself, but usually if you do that, it's because either you're in a bad position or your team fails to support you properly. One of the composition's strengths is its several win conditions, like Roadhog landing a good hook, Tracer getting a pick in the backline, Ashe getting a pick from afar, or Zen getting a pick with volley. With all of this, the composition can kind of make it seem like all of its members are unkillable in different ways, and therefore the enemy can't really focus any one of them successfully, and that's how the composition is able to win. Since Roadhog's recent nerf, this composition might not actually be good anymore, but I still thought it would be interesting to kind of examine how the meta perfectly combined to give Justice a pretty decent shot to going to the Grand Finals. Well, I think that's it for now, so I'll see you again when I see a composition cool enough to analyze. Until then, peace out.